What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Payne. Welcome back to another Street Fighter Duel video. Alright guys, we got a special one. Shout out to my boy EvoEazzy. He actually hooked me up pretty big and hooked us up pretty big, and he downloaded a lot of videos for me and I asked him to do some testing. So the testing is E Ryu versus Akuma in PvE, PvP, and boss mode, and then putting them together in one team to seeing how they perform. So without further ado guys, let's get into those videos and we'll see who is the king, or if they're really close and you really don't matter who you have. Here we go. Alright guys, here we go. The first fight that I was provided is going to be clips of Akuma in PvE, mixed with Bison as the main tank, and then a couple other units that we put together to test out in PvE mode who would do best. Okay, so here's the fight itself. It's going to be played in ×1, so it's Bizang, Elena, Akuma, and Bison. Alright? So this fight here is to see who puts out more damage in a PvE mode. Okay, so there's going to be a couple of these PvE modes. There's going to be specifically 2. Okay, so I want you guys to watch this, and we can see now I rated Evo Ryu a little bit better in PvE compared to Akuma. It wasn't that much better in terms of damage, but in terms of utility. Now there seems to be a mistake in the translation of the game that I've been told by EvoEazzy and a couple others actually. So Evo Ryu's Satsunoiki says that he takes more damage from other sources except for Soul. As a matter of fact, it's supposed to actually takes less damage. It's supposed to be a 50% damage reduction, not a buff, right? So there you go. Let me go back into that. Sorry guys, there's no way to really pause this, but I believe if we go into the clip, Akuma did about 52 million there. So feel free to rewind that one to check it out. I can't unfortunately rewind this because it's just silly the way OBS works. But here's the second clip. Now this one is with Evo Ryu. Okay, same team setup. Only difference is Evo Ryu. Excuse me. You can see here did the Hadouken there. There's the Dragon Slam. Now, as I mentioned before, both of these units, by the way, are SSS plus 5, all 6 cards, FS30, both of them. So they're both evened out, completely maxed out, max gear as well. So you're having max output here for damage, all right? I said from the get-go that the 6-card Garage and the FS30 here, Evo Ryu did 39 million. So less than Akuma, but obviously the factor of Satsunoiki affecting the entire group, giving them more damage output, allowing Bison to do more damage. Also the fact that he is triggering and bypassing damage immunities are a big factor, right? It's not only about damage, it's also utility that Evo Ryu brings. So they're both maxed out. I just want to point that out real quick. At the same time, we have Akuma doing PvE mode again and Ryu doing PvE mode again, so you guys can kind of see both. And I did mention the translation is incorrect. Apparently they did some testing, these guys who have them maxed out, and they said that the actual Satsunoiki should say takes less damage from all of the sources, including soul damage. So instead it says takes more damage from other sources. So that's actually incorrect, making Evo Ryu even tankier. So somebody else can confirm that for me. That'd be great in the comment section. I've had a few people already say that for me in the comment section of my most recent video, but I just want to have more confirmation. Somebody can let me know if they found the same thing. The translation is wrong and that Evo Ryu actually takes less damage from all of the sources rather than more. Okay, very important one, obviously. All right, here's the second one with Akuma. So now this time we're fighting a Zangief battle. Dawson and Guy. So again, I want to thank EvoEazzy for putting all this together. I know it took some time to do it, so shout out to him. I love when community myself can collaborate. I offered him to come on the actual video, but he was shy. So he's, I just want to give him a shout out still for this, because this is a lot of effort from somebody who gets no benefit except for helping the community out and myself. So again, love you guys for this. This is making a great stride for people who want to know who to pull for. Even with my analysis, this is a good way to show data, right? So let's see, Akuma's damage here was 34 million. So you can see here, depending on the fight, Evo Ryu can do more, Akuma can do more, right? So let's go ahead and jump on to the next PvE one, that is Evo Ryu. Okay, so this time they're fighting T-Hawk, Chun-Li, and Rose. So this one should actually have a little more sustain on their team. So let's see if they can, Evo Ryu can bypass some of these sustains here, okay? It's honestly really good damage for a special. Okay. There's a move by, look at that. That AoE is honestly really good. And then here he goes with the Touch of Death, the Satsu Setsugoku. Sorry, Setsushun Goku. There we go. Let's see how much damage. So we're looking to be 34 million, okay, in comparison. 45 million. So there you go. In PvE mode, Evil Ryu did more damage overall. Between the two fights, Evil Ryu won that by a small margin, of course, so I granted. But again, the bonus of bypassing damage immunities, the bonus of giving everybody the Setsu no Iki rather than himself, less of a selfish character, right? So let's go to Akuma boss fights. Now, I said Akuma has the edge on boss fights over Ryu. I was told by EvoEazzy that I was absolutely right on that. Akuma did do way better in all of his boss examples, but I have two for you guys, one with Evil Ryu, one with Akuma, and then one with both of them together, showing that they actually work really well in synergy. And shout out to Pika and those other guys who tested that out, and I agree. And you can tell the synergy is there for both of them. So let's take a look at Akuma. Okay, so this is the current Crusade boss Sira, and did they change her name? I thought it was just Seer before. Was it always Sira? Anyways. Okay, so here we have Akuma. So we're going to see how much damage he pulls up. I'm positive Akuma, and I knew from the get-go, like, Akuma's a boss killer. So this was an easy analysis to do. Like, Ryu just takes too much ramp-up time. But yeah, I mean, Akuma is, like, he's built for this. Like, this is kind of what he's here to do, is he's just here to kill bosses, right? And you guys can see it's going ×1, which is hurting my soul, but I asked him to go ×1 just so you guys can kind of see some of the action. It wasn't my first choice, trust me. But I'm glad you guys get to see this, and you guys can see here for the full 90 seconds, if you last that long, that Akuma is going to be dishing out a lot of damage, right? Okay, and this boss is fairly annoying because this boss is actually one that you need a dodge mechanic for, so you don't lose your super bar whenever she does that move that makes you lose your super bar. It's really annoying to deal with. So this is a really hard boss to gauge this fight on. It would be much easier if it was just like a stagnant dummy boss where they can just both go at it for full DPS and you can get it. But let's see what the damage was for Akuma here. Okay, clearly MVP. Okay, 46 million. Okay, so 46 million for this one. Same fight, same setup. Evil Ryu. The only difference though now is Fashion Blanca is the C2 rather than the last fight I think was MH Ken, right? So there wasn't even a C2 required because Akuma has his own C2. So this one here we have Fashion Blanca here. So obviously it's going to be a little different in boss fights because it's all trigger attacks where Akuma has a C2 and an ultimate, Ryu has an ultimate and a trigger attack. So it's going to be a lot less damage, even though the ultimate, his special, the Dragon Slam, ramps up by 8%. It's still not going to be as good as Akuma's, that's for sure. Like, I mean, that's a fairly easy given, right? The trigger attacks don't happen enough either, in my opinion, for them to impact the boss fights enough. But the two of them together, that's a different story, right? Because Ryu will buff Akuma, or as an assist on Akuma. It doesn't matter which one you decide to go with, assist or because assist he'll give him 20% more damage for the whole fight, as long as he's alive, obviously. But he loses 15% HP, which is easy for Akuma to get back because he has lifesteal on a special. Or he can be partnered with him and give him Setsu no Iki and give him all these extra bonuses, right? So definitely a really good unit to pair with is Akuma and Evil Ryu, and I feel like they built it that way, right? So you can see here, he's actually way tankier. So I think what everyone's saying is correct. He actually does take less damage from all sources. It's like he almost took no damage there at all. So I think the translation is incorrect, which make them look really bad. But on the other hand, he's actually doing really well surviving. Like, so let's see, was it 34 million, 45 million, something like that? So he definitely is top there. Less damage, 34 million. So they actually literally tied. I think they literally tied there for the damage. So let's see them together now. You guys can get an idea of them working together. And let's see who, like, now you have to understand two things. Number one, Viper is the assist for Akuma. So instantly he's going to get more damage off of that alone because I don't think Evil Ryu has an assist. Secondly, there it is, Viper right there, the assist. Secondly, he has the super on Akuma rather than Evil Ryu, okay? I would have actually done a Evil Ryu super. Akuma would have been the C2 because then I would have balanced it out there. So just keep those two things in mind. So the only thing Ryu is going to get here, Evil Ryu is going to get here, is the trigger attacks. There's the Hadokens from both of them. Okay, there's another super. So, and he's also not using Elena, so that's going to be obviously less healing. So they're probably going to die. There's a trigger attack from Evil Ryu. Evil Ryu is going to probably die here. Yeah, I mean, rightfully, it makes sense that they both would have died there. But look how much time is left. Okay, so let's see what the damage total is with like 30 seconds still remaining in this whole fight. I mean, maybe a little less than 30 seconds. Let's see if this guy, if she kills them both now. Yeah, okay. So more than 30 seconds, 32 seconds. So last fight with Evil Ryu, they got 67 million, 69 million with 30 seconds left. So that would have been bonkers if they both survived, right? So two of them together, crossing swords. That was weird. I don't know why I just did that. They would do really well together, right? So definitely pair them together. Put Elena in instead, and with boss fights, let them have more survivability, or Summer Yang. If you have Elena to FS30, she's probably the better choice though, because you get the attack up bonus as well. They'll do really well. Okay, now PvP. We have 3 more videos, guys, for PvP. One is for Akuma PvP, one is for Evil Ryu PvP, and one is for the two of them together. Okay, so here's the Akuma PvP. This is on Battle Royale, so it's random, but you still get a feel of how this works, all right? So the Akuma fight is first, and I said that Evil Ryu has a slight edge over Akuma, but it's like so minuscule you won't really even notice it unless you're fighting a Bison and Bison dies first. Really, that's the only difference that you should really see. Akuma is faster, so you should get a better PvPer from Akuma overall though. And I said the fact that he kills the anchor unit rather than the lowest HP, for the most part, he's going to end up killing the damage dealer, right? Because most damage dealers are the third position in the team versus the lowest HP. I mean, most of them are the lowest HP as well, too. But here we go. You guys can take a look here how this works, right? We'll see what Akuma ends up with for damage. But you can see here, he is getting hurt quite a bit. But once he pulls off his special here, he's going to get a lot of health back because he does have the lifesteal. Elena does heal here. Should be able to kill poison yet. And then they just have Zhang left and Akuma. So that's pretty much over right there. Let's see what the stats were for Akuma here. 54 million. Okay, 54 million for Akuma and PvP. Almost died there. Okay, now here's Evil Ryu's video for PvP. He doesn't fight quite the same team, which is unfortunate, but the good thing is he can go through E Honda's damage immunity of Desperation, so I'm curious to see if that actually happens in this fight. I haven't had a chance to look at this. I just saw Evil Ryu PvP, I picked it up, so let's see what happens here. So there's Honda doing his damage share. Oh, that was the C3, sorry. Okay. And this is a good gauge. I think Battle Royale is actually a really good place to do this because you can actually manually control the fight. And the enemies are not too much lower or too much higher than you. If they're higher, that's great. You get better results, obviously, because you can test better. Let's see what happens here. Okay. I don't think he's triggered one move yet because he's at full health the entire time. Yeah, he hasn't triggered one Shunsatsu Goku or Shun Goku Setsu, or one of the two, touch death essentially, or Shoryuken. As a matter of fact, so you saw that right there. The Hadoken actually went through because he has the 6 cars. Way more damage on Evil Ryu on that one, and he survived with full health. All right, let's put them together. So I think so far my data is pretty accurate. Like my assumptions are pretty accurate. My breakdown was almost perfect actually because boss fights Akuma is doing better. They work really well together. And Ryu is doing better in PvE, and he's doing better in PvP by a slight margin. Now, again, if that is incorrect, the translation is incorrect, this is actually going to be a good battle. About him taking less damage versus more damage, then Evil Ryu comes out on top easily on this on PvP as well. Okay, so let's see. So he did Dragon Slam this time. See, Akuma C2, that's exactly what I would have done for the boss fight as well, by the way. So thank you, Evil, for doing that, bro. Yeah, look at him. He's taking like no damage. So maybe it is correct. Maybe the translation was wrong and he actually takes less damage. Wow, this is an ass whooping. Yeah, Bison just died. You just saw a Bison get killed right there, right? First before Poison even died. So it definitely worked. Let's see who did more damage. Akuma did way more damage, actually. But of course, the C2 is going to do way more damage in PvP. That makes sense. So there you guys have it. Again, slight margin in PvP. I said that, just slight edge for Evil Ryu. Now, if the translation is incorrect and he takes less damage from all their sources, then Evil Ryu definitely gets the advantage there for sure, even with the HP loss. And then also for PvE, Evil Ryu was a little bit higher, but for bosses, for sure, Akuma was there. So there's some data for you guys. Hope the video helps. Thank you. Shout out to EvoEazzy for that, bro. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the community for helping out always. I just want to present this, and there you guys have it. So I hope this video helped. It's a small sample size, guys, but at least it's a sample size we can use. All right, guys, this is Payne. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.